Hi, thank you for coming. I'm Doug Walter, architect, member of the CARE Awards Committee since 1998, and I'll be judging this year. I judge every 3 or 4 years, and in the years I don't judge, I usually win some. I've got about 40 or 50 of these awards, so I want to help you maximize your chance of winning. And the best thing you did was come to this course, because we're going to give you all sorts of tips that the people who didn't come don't have. So you have a big leg up. And the first question is, why enter these things? And the big reason is it really is third-party endorsement. You can take out all the ads you want and say you're a great designer, a great contractor, but nothing says you're credible than saying, I've won an award from the Home Builders Association for my work. And I kind of consider awards life's report card. Once you're out of school, you don't get any grades on your projects, and it's certainly nice to get the accolades of the clients, but it's also nice to see how they stack up against other professionals. And why publicity is so important is in remodeling particularly, is every client's a one-time client. They do repeat, I can vouch for that, but sometimes the cycle is 15, 20 years down the road, they'll come back again for another remodel. So you're constantly selling. You're probably spending a quarter to a third of your time just marketing yourself to get the next client. And awards generate publicity. Publicity generates new clients. Because the magazine, Colorado Homes, is involved this year. They'll be publicizing it. We'll be putting out press releases. But it's the least expensive way to get recognition. You can buy ads all day long, but they run once and it's like a tree falling in the forest. You don't know if they've worked. Compared to paid advertising, awards are a screaming bargain because they cost very little. It's the entry fee and the photography. And it's something that you can easily do. And one of the questions I get a lot is average projects don't stand a chance. And I will tell you, having judged both local and national contests, that that's absolutely not true. That even simple little remodels, I'm sorry, it's the wrong picture. Even simple remodels, like this was a fireplace redo. It was entered in the details category, and we gave it a first place award because it was done so well. Details is a great category. Sometimes there's a project that has something very, very special. Maybe the overall project isn't quite up to snuff, but you think that one detail might catch the attention. The other thing you need to know about CARE is the judges have ultimate flexibility, and we can move projects. You could enter it in kitchen, and we could award you in details. The judges have the authority to kind of move stuff. They have the authority to create new categories for a project that comes in that's a little bit unusual. But the main thing to remember is you can't win unless you enter. At CARE is very user-friendly. We really try to make it easy to enter. We have a pretty relaxed calendar of how far you can go back for projects. I think it's 5 years typically. So it can be an older project, it doesn't matter, which widens your possibilities. But first you need a good project. That kind of goes without saying. Because all the projects that are entered, somebody thinks are good. But then the judges put them up against each other and we see how good they are. So, and I'm sure Lisa will be stressing this later, but good photography is absolutely essential, absolutely essential. And I would say at a minimum you need 3 photographs, 3 afters. For something like whole house, you probably want a lot more than that. But if someone has a tight budget, maybe you take most of the photos, but you bring in a pro to do the 1 or 2 shots you think are really going to win the contest. I never do a photo shoot unless I go out and scout it ahead of time. So I'll go out with my point and shoots, and I'll try different angles, images. I'll pick the best, then I'll make some notes on it about make it a vertical, make it a horizontal, shoot it in the morning, shoot in the afternoon, how to prop it. Notice also on the cover of that shooting script, I've got 5 participants. Hey, Jen. And this is the other trick in terms of bringing the cost down. Photography is way cheaper than it used to be. When we used to shoot a whole house and they were shooting with film, you could spend $5,000, $6,000, $7,000. Today, you'd have a hard time breaking $2,000. Usually it's less. So if you can share it with your contractor, share it with your interior designer, the kitchen designer, give everybody a piece of the action. That's the other thing about CARE is we really want to recognize teams. I design them, I don't build them. Contractor builds them, he usually doesn't design them. So let's get the team recognized at CARE. So photography is a lot of work, and a good photographer is invaluable. This was setting up lighting to shoot in that little tiny powder room to get that one shot on the right. When he was shooting an interior picture, I was outside holding up a plant to cover up a power pole so it didn't show in the photo. But just and also time of day is important. This was my little scouting shot on the left, and then I had the photographer shoot at dusk. And dusk is kind of a magical moment, both from the inside and the outside. It's like a little 5-minute period there when the light finally gets dim enough that the inner lights start glowing. So this is really a nice effect. This was a same shot we did. Actually, it was before sunset and then first thing in the morning to get that dusk thing because we didn't know which we wanted to use, so we shot them both. We left the camera up overnight. So, insider tip, partner with a team. It brings the cost down. It also, you've shared the blood, sweat, and tears of putting together these projects once you share the glory. And the other thing that's wonderful about CARE is it's a remodeling contest. So there's always a before and there's always an after. And people love that. And so the more dramatic you can make your transformation, the more it's going to catch judges' attention. This is just another little tip. Vertical shots are very important, particularly if you're hoping to get into print media. They like to do covers out of vertical shots, and the verticals typically need to have a lot of blank space at the top. Magazines are on tight budgets, so they really would like to use your photography rather than to pay someone else to shoot it. So it gives you a leg up in terms of being considered for editorial coverage. And once you have the photography, you can use it for all sorts of things. This was a postcard campaign I did. I write articles and I go back even today and I'll pick photos from 10, 15, 20 years ago that illustrate a certain point. So once you have it, you can do stuff with it. So I'm sure Lisa's going to talk about the rules, but I will tell you, follow the rules, but you can bend them a little bit. For instance, on the left there was a little watercolor rendering that Barbara Frula did of my client's house, so I put that as the cover sheet. Normally that cover sheet is just a blank sort of boilerplate sheet. And then on the right, somebody has submitted a project back before we had a green category. And they did a very detailed explanation of the project about why it was green, what they did. And you can't really see that well, but they did a green highlight under some of their sentences there. Floor plans are very important. Clear, not construction drawings typically, but more a very clear pen and ink type drawing that fits on an 8.5 by 11. In this case, we're doing digitally, so it doesn't matter as long as it fits on the screen. I will say, in the kitchen category, and it's not as critical in CARE, but if you're entering like the NKBA's Peak Awards, they want the kitchen drawings to be in NKBA graphic standards. And the difference is that architectural drawings are cut here, whereas kitchen drawings are cut up here. So you see different things when you're looking down on the cabinets. There's an example of a kitchen plan. They're always half-inch scale. They're dimensioned in inches, not feet and inches. And there's an elevation to go with. So the other tip I'm going to give you is the worse those before pictures are, the better your afters are. So I'm really good at bad before pictures. When there's a cloudy day and I'm working on a design or something, I'll run out and get a nice picture of this grim, awful looking house, knowing that I can come back later. In this case, this was a project up in Park Hill, and we actually shot it after it was finished, and I think that was around February or March, and so we didn't get a very sunny, warm picture, but we won some contests with it. But then I dragged the photographer back in the middle of June when the sun was the farthest north, and we got some sun on that north facade, and we redid it. So again, befores and afters are important. Typically, and this is back when we were doing binders, but I don't like to see the befores the same size. I'd like them smaller, or do them in black and white. It sets off, here's the before, here's an after. This is a fellow bending the rules. We had no instructions for submitting process pictures, drawings, but they did a very nice job of that. They had a before in the upper left and a during construction and then an after, and that was a very effective presentation. They won several awards that year. The other thing you can do is captions. I would highly recommend that because it really helps focus the judge. They want to be very short and succinct, but sometimes the contest will have like a limit of 250 words or something like that, and you have a lot more to say. This is a way to say it. This was a good example of a fellow who won in spite of his presentation. This literally was what he gave us: a little hand sketch, a 4x6 before photo, and one great after. And we gave him a Details Award that year. But it was in spite of the presentation, not because of it. Special features, again, this could be a details category, but this was a trick little hidden pantry thing made to look like a refrigerator. And certainly celebrate the win. Have some fun with it. Make some noise. Let your local press know. Put it on your signature block on your emails that you've won. One of the things that we like to ask you to do, it's not mandatory, is to do these presentation boards. And they make terrific art in your offices. Clients love these things. So this was one done the old-fashioned way with cut mat and photos, but now we can do them all digitally and have them printed at one time and laminated to a piece of foam core. Again, once you have the photography and once you have a couple awards, you really start to see the editors paying a lot more attention to you. So it gets very easy to then start to get into the magazines and establish a relationship with the editors. So I will tell you, as I was telling Erica earlier, don't get discouraged if you don't win something. Use it as a learning tool. The job I was thinking about was a wonderful whole house remodel I entered one year, and we had just finished it. It was winter. We got some pictures, and it didn't even get third place. So I went back in the summer, we photographed it, we did a better job of it, submitted it the next year, and it won first place in a whole house. So a different set of judges, different images, different year, it can be a totally different thing. So obviously we're here to talk about CARE, but I would be remiss if I didn't tell you there are other venues. We just finished judging for the NKBA Peak Awards. MAME is one that I don't think there are any remodeling categories in MAME.
No, but we have custom home.
Custom home, okay. So if you have a custom home, think about MAME, but you...
Excuse me for a minute. What is MAME? None of the marketing materials for it ever tell you what the acronym stands
Major Achievement and Marketing Excellence.
for. Okay.
Now you know.
It's kind of funny given it's about marketing failure, they don't tell you the
Thank you
acronym.
for pointing that out. We'll make note of that in the committee.
This year and last year too, I had to go all the way to the register for the event website before it would finally tell me what it is. So there's no incentive if you have no idea.
All right, so let's...
And this is active as marketing it right there. Yeah.
Crystal Awards is the ASID Awards, Architect's Choice, Mayor's Design Awards, 5280 Colorado Homes. And I mention these because they're local. And local contests to me are way better than national. I mean, I've won both. But the CARE Awards in particular is kind of the linchpin of my marketing program. So obviously it's coming up. Our deadline for submittals in August. Lisa's about to tell you how to do it. But these are the judging criteria. I would pay attention to these. Kind of do your own checklist of did I show good aesthetic and market appeal? Did I show sensitivity, the existing structure? And if you need to put some wording in there to help focus, the judges do. But I will warn you, don't get too wordy. The judges don't have a lot of time to read this stuff. So I would say sentences are better than paragraphs and bullet points are better than sentences. So make it as hard-hitting and quick as you can. Then, once you've entered CARE, it's very easy to take and resubmit to national contests. And every remodeling magazine, QR, Pro Remodeler, Remodeling, all have their own awards programs. As a matter of fact, most of the deadlines are done. I think QR is still open. Kitchen and Bath Design News magazine just had their deadline. Kitchen and Bath Business, their deadline's in 2 weeks. ARDA's AIBD contest. Chrysalis Awards, a wonderful national program. Builder's Choice, the NKBA Design Awards are open for submittals. So once you've gone through the exercise of putting together the befores and the afters, the floor plans and the descriptions, think about what other venues you can enter them in, because it's not necessarily true that if you win here, you're going to win there, but the converse is true as well.
There's one more to add to that.
Yes.
And that's the Gold Nugget Awards.
Gold Nugget Awards.
Presented at PCDC each year. And this would be a direct rollover. You could literally take your CARE package and roll it right into Gold Nugget, because they have a best renovated house or project and also a best project category and a best interior renovations. And the entry materials that we're going to have, the way we're streamlining the entry packages for this year, will immediately transfer over. So it's basically all you have to do is pay your entry fee.
Do you run Gold Nugget too, Lisa?
You can run Gold Nugget.
No,
we run Gold Nugget, yes.
Okay.
So CARE and Gold Nugget are run by the same company.
Yeah, I've never entered it because it costs $450.
$375.
Oh, it's $375. It's a bargain this year. All right.
But you don't have to put all the material together, so it's a buy.
Okay. Anyway, if you don't know about some of these contests, all your trade magazines typically will have calendars, and look under their awards and see when their deadlines are. And if you miss this year, save it and enter next year. So how many awards do you need to have to be called an award winning? 1. However, I would tell you that they get stale. I've been in the kitchen showrooms where someone's proudly showing something won in 1992, and I think, whoa, they've been kind of asleep for the past 20 years. I think it's important to keep reestablishing your credibility and your competence. And I just wanted to, as I close, mention you can't win if you don't enter. So thank you.
So Doug has done a fabulous job. The one thing that we're going to, my portion of this is to get you guys set up on how to do the entry process online. But a few things that I'll just touch base on. We gave you guys a package that you can take home, and which will also be available on the website as a download, which is just some tips and tricks, and it also has our contact information. We'll be your go-to for your submittal process for the online packaging this year. I think you're all going to be really happy about the digital entry versus the good old portfolio. Again, we're just going to talk about the 8 reasons why it makes a difference. It's cost effective. It's a great thank you. It's a great way to get your homeowners to talk and shout about you as well. It promotes you across the industry, and you also get to make a 30-second acceptance speech at the show. You get your chance to shine and thank your team. So don't take that for granted, because that's a big deal. And it's also one of the most coveted industry awards, so don't forget that. Make sure you shout it from the hills. We've given you some tips and tricks for successful entry. Number 1, plan ahead. Don't wait till the last minute. Waiting the last minute never ends up well. We like to say your failure to prepare is not our emergency. So the date you call us when it's the deadline day, that's a little stressful for you, but we will try to get you through it. Again, buy the best photography that you can afford. Don't shoot yourself in the foot by taking anything for granted. Definitely look at this as a professional presentation. You're going to be presenting this to your contemporaries who are going to be judging you on your professionalism and how you present it. Those statements definitely need to be concise. Again, as Doug mentioned, you don't have much time to go through this, and so you need to be able to explain it to them in a conversational manner, but get your point across. Bullet points are highly successful in the judging. Make sure now that we're doing this as a digital entry that you put together your materials in a succinct way. You're going to want to order your images in a way as though you were putting them through in a binder. Okay, tell your story, make your case. So you're going to number your images in the sequential order that you want them presented to the judges. So you're going to start with those before pictures as pictures 1, 2, 3, 4, however many that there are, and then you're going to go from there. So definitely walk the judges through the home. Okay. We have a whole bunch of FAQs on there as well about if you need to make an adjustment, if you need to replace something, rename a project, replace a project. You can do that if you change your mind, like, hey, this one's not going to be done, but I want to replace because I've already paid my entry fee. We'll absolutely do that. This is about recognition. This isn't like paying your taxes. There is no penalties. We want to make sure that you get the recognition you deserve. So pick up the phone, ask a question. We're here to help. And if you need a sample entry, we'll happily send that to you as well so you can get an idea. So here's some sample entry renovations that we have actually from the Gold Nugget Awards this year. And this is how this will be presented to the judges when we do the judging in person, a digital judging versus a portfolio. And as Doug said, those before pictures to your after, make those dynamic because that's just it. The wow factor simply does add a credibility. So the first 4 images at the very top are your befores, and then you'll have your afters below. We say up to 8 afters. So what you're going to want to do is have your befores sequentially, and then go through. I like to say is have it so that we can actually transition from a before to the actual after of the same view. That really makes a huge impact to the judge. Those clean floor plans are absolutely essential. There's nothing worse than when a judge opens up a digital floor plan and it's construction drawings. They're like, oh, how am I ever going to be able to tell through this? It's just too much. It's too unwieldy. So a nice clean document, even showing a before and an after of what you did, is absolutely in your favor. Here's an example of someone who gave an introduction statement. They bullet pointed what the highlights were, and then they gave their story. And it's a really good way of making your case. Top line, this is really what the challenges were, or this is what we were trying to achieve, and then tell the story of what they were trying to accomplish. It went very well. It was succinct, and they were able to touch on the big points that they wanted to get across. This is actually an entry from last year's CARE that we picked up. Again, the before and afters are very important. If you can get those actual shots of the exact same photos before and after, that'll help you. But then here's what they did in this statement. They gave us the project goals, the major elements that they addressed, and the major interior elements that they addressed. They did them as bullet points, but what I will tell you is the one problem, and this actually won a gold last year, I believe. The only problem is they were so verbose. It was almost overwhelming because they gave every single little detail. They wanted to give you the exposed cantilever floor joist beneath the window walk. That was a little too much detail that maybe we didn't need to get into that much minutia. For a basement remodel, you might have fewer images for a kitchen, a basement, or specialty room or model, and that's okay because you're telling the story of a smaller space. It's not the whole house. So that's all right if you have 1, 2, maybe 3 pictures. Again, what you want to do is get those befores and those afters. I think the during is actually a great thing. If you have those, that's a great idea. And having those captions, fantastic way of using your, telling your story without having to use up your space in your project statement. Again, a nice clean floor plan of the before and then showing the after. That transition helps the judge understand exactly what you did. So telling that story and making your case is important. Again, this is a very simple statement. They basically gave, this is what we did, this is what the owner really wanted, this is what we achieved. Telling that story is helpful. A bathroom remodel, a bathroom. How, you know, that we're talking about something that's very simple. This entry actually had 27 images. Okay, so here's a tip. Sometimes less is more because someone had to wade through 27 images to find really the 8 that told the story. So think about that. Put yourself in the mind that if you are receiving this, what do you really need to convey? It's a little different than putting it in a binder. Think of it in that way, put it in that portion. And also, I actually had to go through and select and find those images that were the before and after. So again, make the judge's job easy rather than having them have to pick it out. You have a question?
So I don't understand. Do we just submit the individual JPEGs and the PDFs and with them numbered and you put them together, or do we put them together in a format like this?
Fantastic question. So that's exactly right. So this is how it's going to happen this year. As the entrant, you're going to submit to us JPEG images. You're going to give us up to 4 befores and up to 8 afters. You're going to submit those and put those in the order that you would like them to be. You're going to submit your floor plans as PDFs. It should be one document with scrollable PDFs that build if you have multiple pages. And you're going to submit one form, which is a team project statement. Basically gives us who's responsible and who needs to be credited. And then that 200-word statement basically addressing, what you did. What will happen is our team will put together the whole package, the entire folder that you're going to send to us is going to be sent to the judging team 2 weeks prior to the judging. They will receive every entry in every category to review. They will look through them at their own pace. They will mark them. They will make notes. And then on September 8th, we will gather here at the HBA offices with the judges. They will bring their notes and say, these are the top 3 or top 5 in each category that we believe are competitive. We'll then put those on screen, similar to this format here, where they will have a chance to discuss them and review them. They'll point out different aspects like, hey, did you see this? But consider that. Once they have had that discussion, they've reviewed them all, they will then ballot their own heart, which will then be tabulated to determine the end-all winners.
How do they get those electronic documents to us?
The electronic documents are submitted once you submit, and I'm going to go through the online process and show you how it works in real time. But once you do have all your materials together, and now it's time to submit by the entry deadline, you are going to put all of your entry materials into one folder. It's going to be numbered with your entry number that you're going to receive from the online system. You then can use whichever file sharing service that is your favorite. Some people use Dropbox, some people use WeTransfer, Google Docs, whichever one that you're now using for your business, FTP. And you're going to then load it onto that space, and you're going to send a link for download to my email address, which will be in the instructions, so that we can download it. We will download it. We will double check it that it is complete. It's not missing anything. If we have any questions like, hey, we don't see a floor plan, or you're missing you're missing your statements, or we only got 3 images, something not load correctly, we will pick up the phone and call you. Our job is to make sure that you're complete and that we're sending the materials to the judges so that you have the best opportunity for recognition. So never fear. And if for some reason we double check everybody in, and if we have an entry that's missing, hey, Jocelyn, you had an entry, I think you're supposed to have 5, and I'm missing kitchen remodel. Where's that entry? Oh, it didn't get loaded. Okay, no worries. Load it up. We want to make sure we have 100% of all the entries checked in before we send it to the judges. We believe in a no man left behind policy, so we will double check you. So it's really, we're not the IRS. We're not going to penalize you for anything. We're actually on your side. We really want you to win. So hopefully that helps you guys with that situation.
How do you pay?
You pay, so once you put your entry through online on the online system, you will receive an invoice from the HBA, which will have let's say you're submitting 5 entries. It'll invoice you. You can either pay by check or by credit card, and that goes directly to the HBA. You're welcome. So again, going back, this is just another example for that bathroom remodel. You'll see that it has the 4 befores, 4 afters, nice clean floor plan of just the bathroom and how it sits, the before and the after. But here's an interesting thing. Another format for a statement. They went through challenges and they went through solutions. And I thought this was really well done because they talked about all the things that the homeowner wanted them to do and how they satisfied them. And I thought it was a really great idea of how to present that to the judges. So these are just a few examples that hopefully will impress you guys and give you guys some information. Again, this will be online so you can download it in case for some reason you didn't have a chance to do it today. What we'll do right now is I'll bop in here to the CARE Awards website. Forgive me, I didn't bookmark it. That was my bad. And of course, I'm not online either, so that'll help me. Is my phone ratings changing? There it is. Remind me, Connie, what's the website for the CARE Awards? thecareawards.com. There it is. I knew it was in there somewhere. And this really is, the careawards.com is your touch point. That's where you're going to have all the forms, all the information, the instructions, the application deadlines, and so forth. Oh, it's fine. It's just we're down here, so it has to go through some levels of drywall and reach the sun. I'm hoping that it's on. It's the links there, right? For the entry application. And where would I find that? It's in the entry form. That would be a good place to put that. So, as you see, the entry fees prior to August 8th are $75 for CRBC members, $100 for just HBA members, and $200 for non-members. After the 9th, the entry fees increased by $25. So just make note of that in case you want to be an early adopter and save some dollars. You will choose, this is a honor system. You're going to choose what your membership level is. It will be double checked. So if you choose the wrong level, Toby will find out and she will invoice you for the proper amount. So just be noticing that. So I'm going to pick I'm a custom builder remodeler member. I'm going to drag down, I'm going to do a kitchen remodel. The name of my project is a parish residence. My location is Castle Rock, Colorado. Oh, I have another entry I would like to submit. I have two entries. I can add another project. I also have a basement remodel. So I have the parish residence. And they don't all have to be the same. I'm just doing this for instance. Note that what you put in here is what the project's going to be referred to as throughout the program. So this is very important. If you don't want it to be the name of the homeowner because they've not given you permission, it can be however you want to do it. The Ferndale, the Rosebud Avenue residence, however you want to do it. That's a really big thing to also note is if you're submitting someone's home, you may want to let them know and get their permission because we have had in the past in other competitions and I think here as well where a homeowner says, oh, I didn't grant you permission to use my photography. I didn't grant you permission to submit me. I didn't know that you're going to put me in a magazine. I really don't feel comfortable. It is always a good idea to let someone know and get their permission first.
And on the other hand, we've also had homeowners actually come to the gala because they knew that they were a finalist and they wanted to see themselves win.
And we have one homeowner who has won 4 awards at the Gold Nugget Awards for their 4 different homes. They come to every awards program. They pick up the awards on stage themselves along with their architect, and I'm telling you right now, it becomes a really big thing for some of these folks. And they actually have the trophies in their homes for their different homes so that they can tell people. It's a very big deal. For your entering company, you're going to put in your contact information. This will sometimes be an autofill, so I'm just going to put in my information so it's intuitive. Real quick thing if it pops in here. You'll put in your email address for the contact information. It should be the email of the contact person who should be receiving the email confirmation. Do not put in your boss. Do not put in someone who's going to get this email and not know what to do with it. Put in your information. This is also going to be who we contact if we have a problem or a question, so that we can give you a call and say, hey, we're missing something, so can you help us out? Yes, ma'am.
Earlier, where all the categories are listed, is there like a complete list of all the categories?
Yep.
To enter?
So right up here, you'll see download categories info. That'll download, and also on the CARE website, there is requirements.
Thank you.
Yes, exactly. Good question. Once you fill that out, it'll auto-propagate. All you have to do is select the fact that you're paying by check, which is really just to say you're paying. That's going to send it to Toby. She's then going to create an invoice. It's going to confirm. It's going to say, oh, I didn't put in my company name in my billing information, so I have to put that in. And the system says I didn't put in you have to put in where you're located. These are all the little triggers that the system is sensitive to.
Honey Care is one of the only awards you do not have to be an HBA member, right? But you
That's
can
right,
get
it's the
discounted
only awards,
pricing.
the only awards that the HBA runs that you do not have to be.
That you don't have a membership requirement. You can't, outside members can, outside companies can submit. So,
It's cheaper to enter if you are.
Yes.
absolutely. Benefit of membership, as they say. So it'll say thank you. Your entry has been accepted. You'll be contacted via email very shortly. You'll go to your email, and as soon as you pop up, you'll be getting a thank you. It'll look just like this, and it'll say thank you for your care awards below your entry numbers. Your entry materials are due by August 15th. They include the following information, which you can download from the site. You submit to Lisa Parrish at lisa@teampmp.com. If you have any questions, call us. And here's the size of your photos. Here's your naming and numbering conversion. And then you're on your way. It's pretty simple. So hopefully you'll all feel very comfortable and confident with this. We've hopefully made it very streamlined. And again, if you have any questions along the way, the only stupid question is the one never asked. So please call us. We really want to help you. We have multiple samples, and we will be happy to send them to you. So we look forward to seeing you on the CARE stage accepting your awards, and make it a great day.